Freiburger here. This time it's going to be inside Rick Péwé's Jeep Field of Dreams. Before we get started, let's ask ourselves, who is Rick Péwé? Well, aside from being my friend for 30 years, let's see,
Wow.
you were driving Jeep since before you had a license.
Right.
Let me see if I get this right, actually.
All right.
This is off the top of my head. Then you worked at, I'm just doing the Jeep history, not your full life plan. Four-wheeler supply. Then you owned Republic Off-Road in Tempe or Mesa?
Tempe.
Yep. And then right after that, I hired you at Four Wheel and Off-Road magazine when I was the editor.
That's right.
And then you became the editor of Four Wheel and Off-Road, then the editor of JP magazine, which was nothing but Jeeps.
Right.
And consultant to Jeep corporate directly.
Right.
Oh, this is cool. If you look at a Jeep JL on the cowl, there's like a plastic piece of trim under the windshield wipers. And on the passenger side, there is an imprint of a couple little sandals. They're the wrong sandals. They're my type of sandals and not Rick's type of sandals. But that is a tribute to Rick Péwé himself.
And what's cool about that?
Ah,
In Australia, because they're right-hand drive.
it's on the other side?
Yes.
Really?
It's a different trim piece, and the wipers go the other way.
The other way?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
That is pretty cool. Well, what I wanted to do is walk around and look at your Jeep collection and see stuff that's neat and fun facts to know and tell and stuff like that.
Well, I have plenty of those.
Yeah?
I mean, look what you're standing in front of.
All right, let's see if we can spot this. This is a genuine World War II Jeep, but it's got the wrong hood because it says Willys on it.
Correct.
The World War II stuff did not say Willys. The reason I know it's a World War II Jeep is that it's got the little toolboxes on the rear fenders, and it's got the dash with the glove box in it. It has an aftermarket heater, which is pretty cool.
There's actually one on both sides.
I don't see that.
Oh, yeah. It's tucked up under there.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
There's this one, and there's that one. And World War II, no tailgate.
Yep. And you can see the olive drab coming through.
Right.
What else?
Grill.
M38 grill. So a M38 is a military version of a CJ3A, or a CJ3A is a civilian version of an M38. World War II frame.
Interestingly, yes, it's a Willys frame because it has this round tube cross member.
Right.
The Ford is going to have a rectangular box. However, this is actually a Ford body on a Willys frame, since they both made them in World War II.
The thing we see all the time when we're digging up old Jeeps is that people mixed and matched these things like you can't believe for decades.
Which is really amazing why it still has an MB windshield. Or
Yeah.
maybe a GPW Ford.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Look at the patina on that thing. What's under the hood?
Believe it or not, stock.
Oh, lizard.
Woo!
That's
You never know what's going to jump out at you.
That's a civilian Jeep motor.
I can tell from the front cover,
Yeah.
it's not a World War II motor. Because they were chain drive cams, and the front timing cover has an extra rib.
As opposed to a gear drive cam that was used on the civil or on the military stuff.
So when I got this Jeep, I opened the hood. And the only thing I saw was weeds and cactus all the way up to here.
Yeah.
I barely saw this because all the pack rats had brought in all this stuff all around it and they were living in it.
Now it's packed lizards. All right, let's go look at more stuff.
More stuff. I have plenty of stuff.
What we're going to look at next is Rick's original Jeep. I think you had this since you were 15, right?
Yep.
And this is the Jeep that really brought him to fame when it was in Four Wheeler's second Top Truck Challenge or first?
First,
First, did you win? No, they didn't let you win.
I lost by 1/100th of 1%.
Right, because you were a friend of the staff and they didn't want to see him win.
Right.
This originally had, well, first of all, it's a 1940
5.
GPW.
Right.
And he originally bought it with a little 4-cylinder, which, by the way, we just drove to Florida and back.
We did.
And then he put a V6 in it, and now it has a 455 Buick in it, which is all Jeep parts. Why?
Because Jeeps used Buick V8s in their Wagoneers, and they used 4-speed transmissions. And even though this is a 420,
But GM used GM transmissions as well.
that is correct.
It's justifiable.
It's full-on Jeep parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why haven't you had this going in so long? I remember it broke in half a few times.
That's kind of why it sets a little cattywampus here.
Yeah.
Just it's not high on the list, but it should be. especially now that I have a dead tire in the back.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's just sitting. I remember one time we were north of Flagstaff at the Cinder Cones, and I think we rolled it up over on its side and Premier Power welded the frame back together with some scraps.
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't seen it in so long. Oh, I remember when we were riding it at Moab and blew up the second 455 that we put in it.
Oh, yeah. We put a rod through the block.
Yeah.
Down Main Street.
In Moab.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. And I rode in it with you the first time I met you, which was actually the second time I met you.
Oh, when we nearly rolled over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at high speed down the sand wash. Did we hit Ned Bacon?
Yeah, we were doing bumper tag or tire tag.
And he had the taller tires, which hit Ned's shorter tires. And when that happens, the taller tire has more wheel speed at the tread. And so it launches.
Yeah,
and we almost went flying.
We were like sideways for a while.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That was awesome.
Look at the tight fit of the 455, but
Yeah.
it goes in there without hacking the firewall.
That's right. And it still runs.
It does?
Oh, yeah. I drove it here.
Oh.
In California, I drove it onto the trailer.
Yeah.
When I got here, I drove it off the trailer. So, battery, gas, fire side up.
This is wrong.
But at least it's Buick.
It says 350 on it.
Right.
That is a Buick 455.
Yep.
Wow, so many memories in this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Not even close to your memories in it, but still.
No, but it's been rolled over more than once.
These tires, by the way, are the briefly manufactured Parnelli Jones. And just last week, from when we're shooting this, Parnelli Jones died. It says PJ JP. It was
That's right.
perfect. JP Magazine.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention that Rick is now doing a thing that's called Gone Jeepin', which is Gone-GPN,
Right.
which is another YouTube channel. So you can check that out, and also on social media because they do nothing but Jeep content. Transmissions in SM420,
Right.
has a Model 18 transfer case, worn overdrive, an actual worn overdrive too, because those are reproduced by Advanced Adapters and they call them a Saturn.
Correct.
And of course, this was an early example of extreme rock crawling in the 90s when Rick and his friends, Jimmy Nyland, other guys were doing wide axles and big mud meets for high articulation with spring over suspension. This was a big deal.
Yeah, this is long before rock buggies and all that stuff came about.
Yep.
We were doing it all. It was fun.
I think this needs to live again.
I agree. And it's not that much stuff. I do have another frame for it. In fact, since I have had the other frame, I've now come up with 3 other frames for it.
We can fix it.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to.
Okay. You're on.
When?
Next time you have time and I have time.
This is not going to happen.
It's not going to happen that way.
Oh, here's the Peely Jeep.
Yep.
Yeah, this is one of many that used to be mine and now is Rick's. This is an MD?
This is an MB.
Yeah.
This one has a skin of aluminum around the back.
Oh, you know what we forgot to mention on your original Jeep?
What?
It was on the cover of Four Wheelin' Off-Road, upside down.
Oh, yeah. Upside down on fire.
Yeah.
That's right.
Ah, good memories here too.
In all its glory.
This one is a Jeep Kaiser M715. It's an Army 5/4 ton truck. They made them from 67 to 69, and they're just like a Jeep Gladiator pickup, except for way better. The parts that are not a Jeep Gladiator are what make it great, right?
You got a good point there.
The fenders that have the big old wheel openings, look at the straight up and down folding windshield, and it originally would have had a canvas top, doesn't fold anymore.
Right.
And the bed, super heavy duty, the wheelbase is different. The engine is the same as the earliest ones of these trucks. It is a Tornado inline 6. It's the very first overhead cam engine manufactured in the United States. And this one has a great story.
So our friend of ours saw a headlight and a bit of a windshield sticking out of the Hassayampa River.
Yeah.
And you said, what's that? And he says, I think it's an M715. We're just four-wheeling around. Next thing you know, we go up to it, and the story is...
It's buried about to here.
Yeah, I mean, we seriously only had headlights sticking out.
Yeah.
And everything else is buried, including the trailer.
Oh, I forgot the trailer.
And the only thing showing on that was this much of the tread, and it was upside down.
Yep.
So,
you can still see the rocks stuck in the wheel from the
wheels.
riverbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a flood, and it took this guy's garage downstream.
His
and he
whole
had
house.
whole house. And he had two M715s.
Yep. One was at the airport getting fixed.
And this one was buried, and he gave up on it.
Yep.
And so you talked to the guy and got the title for it, and he said, just take it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, it was epic. Epic.
And what's weird is that we dug it out of the river with some people who you bought your house from.
That's right.
It's totally weird.
And then we took it to Carrie Hancock's house, put on the trailer, hosed everything we could off of
man,
it.
It was
that was a
so
day right
packed
there
with gravel.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And then we put it on the hoist and started draining the fluids.
Right, which was all sand.
Remember on the transmission and the engine, all the water came out and none of it was mixed up. All the oil had been pushed up and preserved it perfectly.
Yeah.
It
And
was
then
pretty
remember, we took the cylinder head off and we honed the cylinders with the pistons in the block to get all the rust off of
While it was still in this Jeep,
Yeah, we actually made it fire up, didn't we?
Blew out about a ton of sand out of the tailpipe.
Blew so much sand out the muffler.
Yeah.
Ah,
that was epic.
What a killer story, but we never really drove it. We were going to road trip it. I think I changed jobs or something and I flaked. That was 25 years ago.
Wow.
Something like that.
20 at least. Yeah.
At least
absolutely.
20.
So we'll get to it because it's only been 20 years.
Yeah.
We got to wait.
Eventually.
Let it marinate.
Yeah. I have to retire first.
So another cool thing here is on the back panel. If you look real closely, you can see the word Ford embossed. That shows it was a Ford-produced Jeep. Both Willys and Ford had their names embossed here. And those are only on first production ones. As soon as the government wanted a jerry can here, these were all eliminated.
How about the rumor that the government didn't want that on there because it was like bragging or branding or something like that?
There could easily be part of that.
Yeah.
But every part on a Ford-built Jeep had a script F on it.
Yeah.
Even the bolts.
Totally cool. And is that for Henry Ford Ego or is that for warranty purposes?
Could be either.
Yeah.
But how many of these are going to be warrantied?
I know. That's what I always thought when people claimed that. It's like, what do you mean? I'm going to warranty this bolt?
Right. Or for that matter, a bomber?
Yeah.
No one was worried about that.
What's more rare, a Ford script body or a Willys script body?
Oh, you actually see more Ford.
Yeah.
But that's because they were here.
Yeah.
A lot of them were left here. The interesting thing is this cutout hole here for the trailer socket. There's some early ones where Ford didn't have those. So that's a rare one.
Oh, okay.
And that's like somewhere over there.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is the Willys one. I have one where they actually cut a tailgate into it and went right through the Willys.
Uh-huh.
And then they welded that panel back in.
Yeah.
When you get a Jeep, first thing people do with a Jeep is drill holes and then weld
and
them
hack
shut.
stuff up.
Yeah, makes no sense.
I know. That's cool.
Yep.
That's wrong.
It's really wrong. But you saw this part, right? Hello.
I'm reading this.
Oh.
This vehicle restricted to something grounds. See club.
Club grounds.
This vehicle restricted to club grounds. What club did it come from?
Malibu Country Club.
Just like my CJ6.
Yes.
Whoa.
Right. Except this one was burned up in a fire.
Is this the one Jimmy Nyland bought?
Which is why it doesn't have
the front clip.
The front grill, right.
Because
slat
he
grill.
took it.
Right. However,
it had a slat grill?
Well, not this one, because this is a Ford. I think this is. Yeah, this is another Ford.
It's got a
See what
script.
it says?
Yeah.
But the Willys is over here somewhere.
Let's go look for the Willys script body. Willys script?
Willys script.
Cool.
And you notice that this one is kind of rusty too. It was right next to that other Ford at the Malibu Country Club.
Oh, all right.
And this is a real early Willys, and you can tell it's a slat grill for two reasons. No glove box.
Uh-huh.
Willys on the back, and no slat grill. Well, it should have a slat grill.
But it's gone.
But it's gone. Yeah.
Slat grills are early World War II models where instead of having a stamped grill with sort of rounded verticals on it, it has pieces of what?
Flat
1
stock.
1/4 flat strap that are the uprights for the grill.
And that was a lot of effort to make. So Ford came out with the pressed
Stamp.
steel grill.
Yeah, pressed.
7-slot. That was the first real 7-slot Jeep grill.
Yeah.
And then this is the one where they actually cut the panel out to make a tailgate and then welded it back in right through the Willys.
Is that the 455 we pulled from your Jeep with the
This
rod
is
hanging
it,
out?
yeah.
Yeah.
This is out of my 71 Buick Estate wagon.
Yeah. It was a 70. It was
Yeah,
the
it
good
was a
one.
70. You're
70,
right.
high compression.
Yep.
Factory 500 pound-feet of torque. By the way, right next to the Willys script body, this is another Ford GPW that used to be mine and now is Rick's. It's kind of a theme. Aha! Here's one that actually still is mine. I owe Rick about 15 years of back rent on it. This is, I don't know, 45. I think it's a GPW. Let's have a look. Oh no, it's got a Willys frame in it. I don't think it's World War II frame. Rick, a World War II frame doesn't have bumper brackets on it, does it?
Has gussets on the front.
It like these?
I don't know. Let me look. I don't know what these are. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
World War II. Because you see how it ends? Feeling the inside. It actually ends straight.
Yep.
You have to look over there at the 3A to see how it kicks up. So on a 3A, you have this kick up. And this is where the bumper goes. So the frame goes all the way to the bumper. On a 2A and an MB, you have a gusset here from the frame to the bumper.
And what's this one?
Right. So like this one is a 2A. So you have this nice gusset and a space between the end of the frame and the bumper out here.
So he just identified the frame on this anyway as a World War II MB, which is a Willys, and the GPW is the Ford. Oh, that's a bummer. I thought it was a Ford this whole time. Of course, I haven't looked at it in 15 years.
Well, does it have the rear wheel wells in it?
Oh, this is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
See where these are all
That one's hacked.
hacked out?
Yep. This little angle piece right here on the inner fender well is another clue to World War II, as are the little coves for the top of the shock absorbers. It's like
Shock
they built
boxes.
the whole Jeep and then they said, uh-oh, this needs longer shocks in the back. So they made little bumps for them. Right, here's a really good one. Rick, tell the story and then I will reveal what's behind door number 5.
Okay, so this is a 68 or 9 regular Wagoneer, dual tanks, but we don't care about that. A little bit of rust. It came out of Wyoming, named it River because it came out of Riverton.
Okay.
And it's a cool Wagoneer. It's actually really solid, fairly good interior, and it runs.
And it's the same factory color as my 1970 Dragoneer.
Dragoneer, that's right.
Yeah, so this one's got a Buick 350 in it. But what's the important part?
You're holding it.
Look at this. Okay, you have to be a Jeep geek to even understand what you're looking at here.
These are barn doors
Factory barn door Wagoneer.
because Wagoneers never came with them. That's a myth too.
Yeah, obviously they didn't never come.
Right. And before that, remember I had the panel that I sold to you?
Yes.
These were a panel. It was a 2-door and it had barn doors as well.
What is
Same doors.
I forget the Army designation of that panel truck.
Whatever.
But the panel trucks, even civilians had these.
Right. Most Wagoneers were regular clamshell.
Yeah.
These are super rare.
And far superior if you had not rammed your forklift or something right into it.
There is a dent, but it's fixable.
Ah,
I mean, look at the wheel wells. They're rotted away. But that's fixable.
yeah.
The important is having actual barn doors. There's a guy out there on the internet that made his own.
Yeah?
Yeah. And it looks actually pretty good. But this is just like the military ones that I used to have that I sold to you, that you sold to somebody else, and it's now in
It's gone.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Ooh, nice upholstery. Wow.
Yeah. Actually, not too bad. It
That
came
is
this way.
Sweet. I didn't realize this thing was like showroom condition.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Came with an extra gas can. The bad part is the transmission is gone because the adapter between the transfer case and transmission broke, and that's usually why they take them out and do something else.
When they put a Buick 350 in these, I think they had a Buick nail head transmission, right? And so there's an adapter from the regular Buick pattern to the wrong pattern.
Right.
Yeah,
and they did the same thing like on your 327 Wagoneer.
Yeah.
It was the same nail head transmission, turbo 400, with an adapter to the AMC 327. So makes no sense.
You're sure that the Buick uses an adapter?
Want to go see one?
Yeah, let's go see.
Okay.
All right. Never fails.
I'll show you the adapter. Don't need a J-track, do you?
What year is it?
78 and a 79.
Smog.
Oh, you're talking smog. Yeah.
This one has been cut from a long bed to a short bed. What is this?
So the guy I got it from, he wanted to make it a different length. So he was going to just cut it right through here because this makes sense, right?
Right.
And shorten it? No.
Wrong.
Oh,
that's the one we found. That's the Gates Commando.
Right. That's the new one.
Yeah, because it's got the white wall.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah. Rick and I found that tire on a trip 20 years ago. Everything's 20 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, Armstrong Norseman right there.
True Track.
No.
Yes.
Armstrong True Track. That's right.
Yes.
The Norseman. Where's the
one.
Norseman? There's the Norseman. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah. Norseman's the one that says, ah. The True Track is the really good one. The reason I bring up the Armstrong True Track is it was really the first off-road specific tire that was sold that was super popular. I think there was other stuff, but this was just the standard back in the 70s. And they really didn't make them in huge sizes. I think 31s were about it, or
33s at the most. 32 is actually what it measured out to be.
Because it's just called an 1115, isn't it? Something like that. It's 11 inches wide.
Okay, so we gotta undig it.
That's got to be an M715 front axle right there.
It is. And an M715 rear axle. And a dented oil pan. Yep.
Aha. I questioned Rick as to whether there was an adapter on the Buick when it went to the Turbo 400 in the full-size Jeeps. And you can see this is a Buick 350, and I suspect I know where this came from. I just realized this is out of my 1970 Wagoneer. I gave it to Rick because otherwise it was going to sit around at Steve Dulcich's place. And you can see right there, it's got the adapter to the Turbo 400 because the 400 is a nail head bolt pattern.
Correct.
Yeah.
What I don't know, since it's kind of like a almost round pattern, how close it is to the AMC 360 401.
Wouldn't that be wild?
I've never checked.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm assuming the distance is going to be different.
Yeah.
But still, yeah.
Wow.
So they're often. So I took this one and I took all the spark plugs out, and cleaned it all off, and turned it all over and pickled it. So it's ready to go into like maybe this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, what is this? Right here, Rick has an original Jeepster. These were made from 49 to 51. Is that what we decided?
No.
No?
48 to 50.
48 to 50,
Ish.
but then they kept selling them and maybe titled them later. This was the Jeep that was like a jaunty little sports car. It's not even four-wheel drive. It was made by Willys, who made Willys cars, and even though it has the word Jeep in it, there's nothing Jeep-like about it except for maybe the grill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Which is also the same amount as the CJ10.
Yeah. Yeah, CJ10.
Right.
CJ10 is an airport tug. It looks like a CJ7, but it has the headlights out in the fenders, and that's because they needed a bigger grill for the diesel that was in it, and the 717 axle gears, also two-wheel drive, and they were really short and stubby, and they hauled jet airplanes around, but they had 10-slot grills.
So yeah, this is like my fourth Jeepster.
I can think of 3 on the property right now.
Actually, yeah.
Another Ford script body.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. Is it just the back half welded in?
There's more than just Ford script here.
What's with this lip?
Well, what about the axle with the differential on the wrong side?
Whoa!
What's with that funny body cutout?
Is it a GP?
It's a GP.
Yeah. This was an early Ford GP before the GPW. So they made these in about 40? Is that right?
41, and there's about 1,500 or so.
Yeah, that's cool.
So Bantam, Ford, and Willys all won a contract to produce a bunch. Most of these ended up overseas, Lend-Lease. And Wally Parks had one.
Yes.
Because he was in Burma?
No, they were in the Philippines. They were in a tank battalion. And they put a V860 in it.
Right.
And it had a little name on it right here that said Sigma Nu. Yeah. And I forget what that means, or Signa Nu, I think. There's a picture of Wally sitting with one of these in the Philippines. Wow, that's cool.
So the question is, why did that Ford V8 fit?
It probably bolted right up.
It did.
Yeah.
The question is why? Can you answer that one?
The radiator's farther forward in this than it is in a regular?
No.
Why?
It's because this came with a Ford tractor engine.
Oh, it has a factory firewall cutout I didn't know about.
This is not like a regular Willys.
Not at all. I've never really looked at one of these. See, we were describing a slat grill earlier, and that's not this. It is a slat grill,
but it's not.
We were talking about the ones on the regular MB and GPW,
right.
But that is the design that I was talking about.
And this is also Ford's design with the headlights behind that will swing up.
Yeah.
Which you find on the later MBs and GPWs.
Look at that radiator cap.
Isn't that cool?
Wow.
And this one turns over, just no carburetor. Apparently they're like $10,000 for an original one.
Nah.
Yeah.
Any carburetor works.
Oh yeah, I got carburetors that'll work.
Put a 4-barrel on that thing.
Hell yeah.
Wow, this is neat.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I knew you had it.
See, always a surprise for you.
Yeah. Ha! Technically, that's a Mighty Mite, but there's not a lot left to it.
Body and frame.
M422?
Yeah.
And M422A?
A1.
A1. I think that's right.
Yep. This
is the replacement for the Jeep Vietnam era that was made by American Motors. It is all aluminum and it was powered by a V4 air-cooled engine. And it was 4-wheel independent suspension.
Yep. Quarter elliptic springs, front and rear.
Oh, really?
Yep. And inboard drum brakes right on the differential housing.
Yeah. Wow. They're cool. This one could use a little work.
It's actually in really good shape.
The body is. I mean, they don't rust. They corrode. Is this the long wheelbase one or short wheelbase?
I think this is the short.
Yeah.
This is an early. At one time, I had 0.1% of the world's production of Mighty Mites.
Same speedometer.
Yeah. Standard gauges. These were 24 volt, of course.
Yeah.
And everything was sealed for underwater driving and all that stuff.
They were neat.
Yeah. And they're light. They throw them out of an airplane.
And to be clear, not the same as an M151. That's a total different deal.
Totally different.
Yep.
Although that was built by Ford.
Yeah.
And some by Willys.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Huh. You can see them on their production line.
Mighty Mite's actually better, only because Mighty Mite's a cute name.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's adorable.
And a 4-speed transmission, and the transfer case didn't have low range.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Didn't need it. First gear was super low.
Right.
And there's no weight.
And it's super light.
Super light.
Well, that's the end of this particular chapter of the Péwé adventure. It's just getting way too baking hot out here. And honestly, how do you top the Ford Jeep?
That's pretty hard.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, if I had a Bantam, maybe.
But every Jeep has a story. And there's a whole lot more of them, not only here in this yard, but up in other places. So someday on the David Freiburger channel, we will get to that. But in the meantime, go watch another video on my channel. You know, help me out with the algorithm. And some of the stuff you can watch is adventures that Rick and I have done. I'm not sure what order I'm going to release this all in, but probably people have seen by now us driving your bone stock World War II Jeep from here to wherever we went.
Key West.
Key West. And you drove it all the way back.
Yeah.
We also did an adventure with rescuing a little 71 Jeepster Commando.
Up in Colorado.
Yeah, and we are talking about doing something with another car.
Car?
Car!
Whoa, that would be
How
interesting.
weird would that be? We've
weird.
never done a car trip. Also, don't forget, not only is all that stuff on my channel, but there's also Gone Jeepin', which is Gone-GPN. And it's nothing but Jeep content, right?
Absolutely, all Jeep all the time.
You can see that on YouTube and also on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Rick Péwé and a gathering of other people who are sort of leftovers from JP Magazine
Right.
are doing Gone Jeepin', so check that out as well. Meanwhile, do all the regular stuff, like, subscribe, comment, those things that everyone's supposed to say at the end of a YouTube video.
Right.
It's sort of obligatory. Buy a t-shirt, all that stuff, and we'll see you next time.